Right, Grand Drillers, welcome to my extremely weird hotel in Faro. It's really weird, the blanket is so thin, and this is a window to the hallway. Yeah, it's weird. I want to know what's down there. Curious. Around here, there's more things. It's actually kind of cool, but I'm not interested really. It's just a room. The real adventure starts now with the winners. Okay, so we're here in Lisbon. I didn't film anything at all on the journey up here because, well, it's a mixture I forgot and I couldn't be bothered, but anyway, here we are. This here is the main line from Orient Station, which is back down that way somewhere towards the main station, which begins with A, and I've forgotten the name. It's a little bit complicated with the ticketing. I was hoping to get a rail pass to cover me for today and tomorrow when I'm riding up and down, but Faro wouldn't sell me one because they didn't have any, even though the website says they do. And then back there, when I tried to buy one, first they told me to go to a different ticket office, then another one, and then I went to that one and the guy's like, oh, we only have the 7-day one. So it's like, what's the use in that? So I've bought point-to-point tickets instead. To be fair, they're not actually that expensive. I paid about 16 quid to go to Porto, which is like a 3.5-hour journey. My journey earlier was a similar length of time. I paid about the same amount, slightly less I think. But the problem is they insist on you having reservations on a lot of these trains, like the IC ones and that, which is a stupid system. And the reason I didn't buy an Interrail is not only am I only here for 2 days, not 3, but also with the Interrail that doesn't include any of the seat reservations or anything like that. So it's a really stupid system really. Anyway, that's a really long rant, sorry, but we're here and I'm just walking between the two stations because it's about an 1.5-hour walk and I've got 2 hours before my train leaves. So I'm doing the interesting thing of walking. I have been rejected a winner leap because of the lack of rail pass. I could have gone to Vila Franca something, de Gira, whatever it's called. I could have gone there and back and raked with Rourke, but I've been denied that because of the lack of pass, and I'm not paying 13 quid, which is literally how much it costs to do that on an IC. You go on a local train, it's €2. You go on the IC when it's €13. And yes, I know, I probably wouldn't be a ticket check for a 10-minute journey, but that's the sort of thing I get away with without having a reservation, without a ticket. Because I'm Barry and I like playing by the rules. Anyway, railway line. That's an example of a Portuguese cart. And they look a bit like Lego, to be honest. Here's another one. You see what I mean? The front is all like square-ish. Or maybe it's just the headlights. I don't know what it is. They look funny though. Okay, you know the score by now. It's time for SeanBarry's fun facts about Lisbon. And the first one is one that I've just looked up and one that actually very much surprises me. So it's common knowledge that Lisbon wasn't always the capital, right? But until about 2 minutes ago, I always thought there used to be Porto, because Porto, Portugal, you know, kind of lines up. But it wasn't. So it was a little bit complicated. It was like it was a city near Porto. Then it was another place that began with C. But then it was Rio de Janeiro for a while, 13 years actually. And I've forgotten the reason why, but I find it pretty cool that the capital city of a country is not actually in that country. And I'm wondering if it's the only example or if there's any others, because that'd be pretty cool if there were more. Fun fact number 2. So apparently Portugal is quite big on literature and stuff like that. It's a pretty good place to come if you're interested in books and things like that. So it's home to the oldest bookshop in the world and some of the most beautiful libraries and other bookshops in the world. So I've read anyway, I've not actually verified this. But fun fact is that here in Lisbon, it is home to the world's smallest bookshop, which apparently can only fit a few people inside at once, and yet is filled with 4,000 books, which to me sounds like quite a lot. Not that I'm really that well versed in how many books you can fit in bookshops, but that does sound like a lot. Here's an interesting one. Ukrainian registered car. See a few of those, right? Now I've got a few criteria for what makes a good city, and one day I may get around to actually talking about it and possibly ranking all the cities I've been to based on those criteria. But one of the most important ones to me is whether or not jaywalking is acceptable, because in some countries and some cities this isn't really tolerated and carries a risk of a fine, which I'd rather not have. Luckily Lisbon seems to be alright with it, so it gets marks on that at least. One of the more depressing facts about Lisbon, it was apparently one of the first cities to import Guinness, which really is an appalling drink, so we lose marks for that one. I've just had a word with our Czech correspondent to do some research on Lisbon and find me some information to talk about, and I have here his response. It says, Lisbon is one of the oldest cities in the world. So there's a fun fact for you. Oh, I've just received another one. Lisbon is home to the smallest bookshop in... Wait, we had this one already, fuck. Okay, here's an interesting one. Remember earlier when I said about how Lisbon is now the capital of Portugal? Well, apparently there's no official documentation for it, it's just something that's been widely accepted. So I'm wrong, but that's alright. I've also spotted a sign of the British invasion over here. Mr. Helch has made his presence known on the wall over there. Not sure how well you can see it, but Apollonia, that's the name of the station which we're walking to, which I've forgotten. Right, remember now because it says it up there. I haven't really seen too much else of interest on this walk so far, until now. Look at this. This is the very interesting depot of CP. Down there. That's the reason why I came to Portugal, is that thing by there, which has the same engine as a Class 20. Aren't they just brilliant? How great it is to see cousins of these fine machines out here, still in the wild, still, well, that's not hauling passenger services, but later on we'll be going on when that is hauling passenger services, because they still run. In fact, she goes. Sounds just like one. What marvellous little machines they are. There aren't many of them left. If I can recall, there's about 11 that currently work, and there's really no way they should still be hauling passenger services today, but they are, apart from that one, because that's not passenger service, that's just empty coaching stock. But you get my point. This is quite a cool view. That one there, that's the dud. That's the one I had up from Faro earlier, which I think is pretty cool, seeing it again there. But that's just me. You joined me in my hotel in Porto. I got a bit fed up of Lisbon, so I've come here, and let's go have a little look around. And you joined me in this weird park, which apparently has a bit of a tramway running through it. Except the thing is, they're digging up half the tramways here by the looks of it, so there's not many actually running. Certainly none that I've seen yet. I don't know if that's just down to the time or if they are all just not running. Anyway, here's a very interesting building. I've got absolutely no idea what it is. Looks exactly the same on the other side. Interesting tower. There's actually an interesting building right next to my hotel, which I will show you when we go back. Right now I just thought I'd walk towards the river, so... This is that building. Again, I don't know what's particularly interesting about it, but if it's listed on Google, then there's probably something pretty cool, let's be honest. Okay, as usual, it's time for some Porto fun facts. So, my list tells me that Gustav... Oh shit, there's a car. Well, I can tell you while the car comes. Anyway, Gustav Eiffel designed one of the bridges over the Douro, the Maria Pia Bridge. Fucking hell, that was close. That's Pia, P-I-A, not P-I-E-R. Apparently it was his last project before he built the Eiffel Tower, which sounds interesting. What else have we got? September is great harvest time. There's a bookshop here that people say... Fuck, there's another one. There's a bookshop here that people say inspired J.K. Rowling, but apparently it didn't, which she clarified. I can go down here. Cars can't reach me down this staircase by here. This is great. What else have we got? The metro goes to the beach. It's home to one of Europe's largest street festivals. That's interesting. Let's check what Dennis has got for us. Hosted the 2021 Champions League final. That's pretty cool. Wait, where am I? Oh, I didn't want to come here. Hang on. What else have we got? Home to one of the largest street festivals called St. John. Now hang on, that's a fact I've already told you. The bridges there are designed by... Right, so you know when you're trying to make a video and the only thing everyone does is be obscenely unhelpful to you? That's exactly what Dennis Barry is doing right now, in fucking sending me facts that I already know. I bet you he's looked at the same webpage as me. Apart from the bit about the Champions League, which he probably knows because he's a massive nerd. The centre of Porto is a World Heritage Site, so he tells me. Well, I think none of those facts are as interesting as this staircase and this entire walk I've been doing. I'm not sure how well you can see it. There's quite a nice view there. My only concern is that I'm taking rather a lot of steps down and my hotel's all the way up there. So I'm going to have to walk back all this way. But, oh well. And good news, we've made it to the river. Here we are. It is extremely pretty. I mean, actually, it's not really up there in terms of best rivers I've been to, but that's kind of not the point. The point is that it's quite cool. Which it is cool. I don't know how much of it you can make out on this thing, but it looks cool to me. I'm going to walk down and have a bit of a closer look, I think. Well, now this looks a little bit prettier. Here's the bridge they were on about. And by they, I mean me. Oh, it does look like it was designed by him, actually. I see the resemblance. Well, isn't this just a very pretty scene? I think so. So we've got one in the corner. It's definitely a lot more open than Lisbon was, which I'm a big fan of because I don't really like the cramped streets and that. Lost focus of where I was going. But here, I know where I am. Let's go down here. Well, I think this is just brilliant. This is the sort of place where I am now that I feel like I could just sit here forever. So, chilled out. The problem is the winners won't wait forever, so... Okay, so I don't know how well you're going to be able to make this out, but earlier when I said I wasn't sure if the trams actually existed here, there's two up there on the bridge that are crossing. I'm watching on the screen, you can just about see them. Just there. That is actually quite a cool bridge. You're watching the process of ideas flow through my head. Bad ideas. I get in a shed soon. I can do what I want with it.
Da garagem e no porão, em todos os armários, os vestidos, os remédios.
Well, this pretty much concludes my half-an-hour tour of Porto. Back to the trains.